Hey everybody, welcome back to Art Smart. Today I'm going to give you the least fresh film and film printing, I guess you would call it for this review ever. This is for Amadeus. It is a VHS tape that I recently picked up at the Baltimore Book Thing. This particular VHS is pretty old now, if you think about it. What is this? Almost 31, 32 years old. This is an older VHS tape. However, it's a film that I enjoy, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about it today, and also just give you a brief review and discussion of VHS. Now, let me start with the VHS discussion part. I think VHS is great for archaeological type purposes. It's you can see on the tape parts that have been watched quite a bit in the past by people because they get grainier and things. You can see sections that probably were not watched nearly as often, usually kind of later on in the film, because there's less tracking going on there. There's less warping and things. So it's kind of interesting to get a feel for what people enjoyed in the film in the past. Yes, on a lot of VHSs, you can also see sections where there was nudity or something too, because a lot of times that's where you have a lot of warping and stuff happening. It's kind of sad to a degree, but let's face it, it happens. It's kind of archaeological in that kind of dirtier sense too. But I enjoy looking at a VHS tape, and that also it just feels like the 80s. It feels like the times. The way that it's presented here definitely reflects kind of the feel of movies at that point. They seem to work well together. That grainier feel definitely seems to reflect that particular period of time a little bit, and it just feels like the 1980s. I know that that's not something that most people appreciate today when you're talking about HD movies or Blu-ray or whatever the newest thing is. But I definitely think that sometimes a work of art looking like its time period makes it a little bit more. I can feel what the person at that particular period of time felt about the film a little bit more. It feels more genuine, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I like it on the VHS. The only part that I don't like is sometimes the sound quality isn't quite as good. And in a movie like this, there's a lot of music going on. And so the music maybe not being quite as clean is not the greatest thing. But visually, I like the graininess of the VHS. It just feels like the 1980s, and it feels like Amadeus to me. So most people aren't going to agree with that, but whatever. Watch another channel, I guess. When it comes to the movie itself, this is a fantastic movie in that it is extremely artfully done. I like the fact that they didn't try to score the music with the soundtrack of Mozart being altered. They didn't do that at all. It's just straightforward Mozart. There's no bridging of tracks. There's no attempting to make one song flow into another. These are very straightforward recordings of Mozart, and there's no changing to what he did whatsoever. And I think that is a wonderful thing to do. The whole fact that Mozart really probably was not affected by Salieri in this particular way doesn't really matter. This is a fictional story, and I think most people at this point probably know that. If you don't, yes, this is a fictional story. Don't take this seriously in any real way. But it's for what it is, being a fictional story, it is beautifully well done. It is very the themes of life and death and mediocrity and dealing with mediocrity. And what does that mean? If there is a God, is it okay for us to not achieve our dreams? Is it okay for God to give us limitations? Is it all right that God sometimes give somebody that is apparently less worthy in certain ways these gifts, and then you, somebody who's trying so hard, doesn't get these gifts? It brings up great theological questions, and it is, I think, really, really well done for what it is. Of course, the acting is wonderful in it. The part that I really thought was really, really well done here is I actually thought Elizabeth Barrage. The fact that she stepped in because the original actress got injured, it was a fortuitous thing, because that kind of deer in the headlights look that she has, this kind of young innocence, that probably was the fact that the actress was just kind of being thrown on the set and told to act, and she's just trying to figure it out, really, really works well. Her naivete really contrasts quite well with F.Murray Abraham and his very telling, knowing performance. And of course, Mozart in this film is really, really well portrayed. He is very lowbrow, but also at the same time you can see the genius popping up in his mind. It's really, really well done. So definitely a movie that I would recommend that you watch. It is artful, it is beautiful, and it is really, really well thought out in its storyline and with cinematography, really everything. This is one of the great movies, especially from the 1980s, and so I would definitely recommend that you check it out. So I think that's enough about it. Hopefully you'll find the VHS or another version of it, but VHS is a great way of watching this, and hopefully you enjoy what is a great art film. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day, and make sure you continue to art smart.